it's almost like football season or something, where there's like just matches on all the time, but all around the world too, at all time zones, high level play. Like once WCS Europe and America starts up too, oh my god. All right, guys, this could be the last match of the round of 32. Let's find out if MarineKing can bring it back here against the terrorist FanTaSy.
Down here in the bottom left, in the red, the Terran player, he's up 2-0. It's FanTaSy.
FanTaSy got so much momentum in this series, he probably bought an op, man.
Wow.
Terrorist side. Up at the
How
top,
dare you?
top right in blue. It's MarineKing. I almost said MarineKing Prime. MVP MarineKing.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as MKP still. His nickname he gained. It's a little abbreviation. But yeah, I mean, MarineKing just looking so frustrated. I think that bathroom break is what he needed. Like, he might have actually just been going in there to splash water on his face.
Who even know if he actually used the bathroom?
Well, gas first here for FanTaSy. And is MarineKing going to go CC first? He is? Okay. Okay, my dream build is coming together.
Your advice.
It's gonna be CC first versus Rushed Banshees. Let's see if he can actually do what I think he can do. This is absolutely what I would have told him to do.
Well, the biggest part of that, you know, if you are going to go CC first, you definitely want to get the scout on and see what your opponent is doing. That's the first step to defending any kind of thing like that, unless you're going to put down blind turrets, which is a big commitment. Let's say if your opponent is also going CC first, that's something you definitely do not want to do.
Yeah.
So after the CC first, I think we're going to have to see a scout out of MarineKing, unless he just goes like ultra MarineKing greed style.
Well, he's going to wall off here, which is definitely going to give him flexibility against some sort of weird, crazy all-in that we'd never see on Nimbus, but he's playing it very safely. In TVT, you usually don't get a second barracks. After the CC, I don't think MarineKing is going to be doing that. He's probably going to add his gas in just a second. And once he gets the gas out, I mean, a Reaper... Okay, he's actually going to make a second barracks.
Okay.
He's going to be able to move across the map and send an SCV out now. I think that's what we're going to see in just a second. Yep, it's rallied out here. And because it's a gas first, if he scouted straight up cross spawn, he'd actually be able to see this, but he's going to get denied. He's going to have to rely on his instincts because I think he's just like, okay, 1 in 3 chance I find him, and if I do, then I know everything I need to know, and I'm just going to take this risk because, I mean, I might as well try. So when he gets to the CC, or rather to the base of the bottom left, there's already going to be 3 Marines out, which is it's a fairly large tell, but it's not certainty that he's going to be able to gain with this to know what sort of opening it is.
Hellion comes out here. Is going to be the first scout for FanTaSy, already going towards the north. Very fast scout, because it is a Hellion driving a car. We'll be able to get there pretty soon.
It's even called race car in the Chinese version.
Yeah. Only having 2 Marines out front. Okay, so he does show all the Marines.
Yep. And, I mean, MarineKing can reasonably assume what's going on here. And, I don't know, he might assume the worst and just get an eBay up. Well, it's not even going to be Banshees, actually. I mean, oh, wow, he actually let that in. It's not going to be Banshees. It's going to be a drop.
Yeah. We got a couple of Hellions out here as well as a big group of Marines. So we're probably just going to see that boosted across the map and probably dropped at that backdoor base. Seeing the timing of those 2 barracks coming up, seems like FanTaSy has identified the fact that MarineKing has gone for CC first, or at least fast CC, and he's going to go ahead and drop it in there. MarineKing is ready with a pretty decent Marine force, but it's only Marines, and Widowmine is with this drop.
He keeps letting this Hellion in, too. This Hellion gets inside. He can just walk in. This isn't supposed to happen. Oh, boy, and this Widowmine is going to... Oh, that shot, I didn't even imagine it was going to be that good.
And the Hellions are in.
lining it up, doing some damage. 6 kills already. It's actually starting to damage the CC quite significantly. He's going to kill another SCV that spawns.
And he's following it up like he did in the first game with just 2 CCs behind us. He's trying to do as much damage as possible. He's, of course, not going to kill MarineKing with this, or even kill a CC, but he's just going to do as much damage as possible.
He's trying to bait those Marines into the Hellbat, or into the Widowmine, excuse me. It didn't happen. But it was a good try. It actually was so close. Whoa! That's the terrorist that makes the crowd scream.
Someone out there screamed, I heard it. And so now MarineKing, what kind of place is he in? He's lost a lot of SCVs. FanTaSy has actually stayed equal with him on SCVs now because of this, and he's got a 3rd CC for the follow-up. MarineKing, it's looking a lot like that first game. You know, MarineKing will have that +1 out a bit sooner.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to look at some numbers here. He's still up in Harvesters, obviously. You know, he's got 12 Marines out on the map. Has a really quick stim. So
drop coming out here. 8 Marines.
This drop, if he catches FanTaSy caught off guard, could actually do a lot of damage because of that stim. Like, if this army moves out for any reason, or moves to defend the natural, for example, and the MarineKing hits the main, or vice versa.
He's got a Widowmine in the back door, but it's over towards the north of the base. And MarineKing comes on this angle towards like that right side gas. That Widowmine is actually out of position.
Well, this Viking is going to help out here. Widowmine is going to do a little bit of damage. Oh, he targets on the medevac! FanTaSy showing he is on point tonight. Shuts it down. Whoa.
Really, really nicely done.
Hold on to your seats at home, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a bumpy ride for MarineKing.
Yeah, he's not having the greatest games here. And having that happen to a guy who's down 0-2 and he's having trouble with his emotions, it's going to put him on tilt. He's going for a huge attack here. I'm not sure if this is going to work.
It can't work.
He's got less Marines, less tanks. He doesn't have a Viking. FanTaSy does.
He's attacking into a defensive position as well. Defender's advantage is a real thing. He's putting himself into like a meat grinder right there, where literally his entire army is being hit by siege tanks.
Look at his face. I think he's just totally given up on this game.
He's actually just like move commanding into the base. I think he's just going to leave the game.
I don't know, man. I don't actually think he's going to leave the game.
Well, I think he's mentally left the game.
That's definitely true. I think FanTaSy, once he gets up a sizable army, will just move across the map and kill him. He's going to set up a marine, or rather, missile turret ring here.
Like, that attack, if intentional, was like one of the most novice things I've ever seen. He's attacking into 2 siege tanks that can hit his entire army, and he's bunched his units into one focal point. Almost looked like he intentionally put it into that one location. It was not a smart choice, no matter which way you want to look at it. There's like no devil's advocate here. That was like the wrong move. He does have a 3rd CC, and I mean, to move out and pressure FanTaSy and to make him react while he stays on 2 bases to keep him from taking his own 3rd, that makes sense. But to, you know, attack at that location and just sit there under it,
yeah,
not right. And to stim into the base after that?
Into the 2 tanks. And now he's going to go for a double drop towards the backdoor expansion, where there's a Widowmine.
Tanks.
There's a Widowmine, there's a bunch of missile turrets, there's a Viking. This drop is not going to happen.
This drop is destined for disaster. 3 siege tanks alone could be surrounded by SCVs. All right, let's see. Widowmine does a ton of damage to them already. He pulls the SCVs away. He gets it unloaded. And that's a lot of firepower here, but he can't really run away with the siege tanks, not until Legacy of the Void at least. It's actually getting some good damage done. I stand corrected, but here come those Marines just to drop on top of the siege tanks. And the Viking's going to clean up the medevac, and the tank is going to go down. The other tank goes down.
I mean, it does damage, but he loses 3 tanks here.
Yeah, he trades with some Marines, but losing the tanks is so expensive. Look at that FanTaSy scam, man. He already knows what MarineKing is doing before he does it.
We're going to have another drop going towards the 3rd base, where there's only tanks.
Yep. And does take out several of them, but it's just not trading super efficiently.
Does get away with one of his tanks. Another scan coming down to see what's next.
He just wants to know where the medevacs are going. Are they going to the natural? Oh, I think he just tipped his hand there. Look at all these scans.
Scans once again. He's like, okay, well, I know what you're doing, man. You can't hide it from me.
Imagine, though, in Legacy, these tanks are going to be able to just be dropped in siege mode. This is going to be so fun.
It's going to be pretty sick. So FanTaSy has to be ready here. He's making more missile turrets. He's getting more Vikings. And he's dropping himself towards the third base of MarineKing.
MarineKing is not going to see this coming. Another scan. It's actually worth it to scan like this. You get someone who's being so almost haphazardly aggressive. Could actually get a ton of SCVs here. There's nothing to defend, nothing at all. He's parade pushing across the map. MarineKing panics here, decides to go for a big attack, and takes a decent trade at first, but those siege tanks are going to wipe his army on the low ground. Just continue to parade push. GG. Oh my god. MarineKing was so on tilt that whole game. FanTaSy fangirls scream and go crazy, but that was...
Yeah, that was one of the more tilted series I've ever seen out of MarineKing.
That may be the most tilted I have ever seen a player play in my casting career. That stim with the Marines into the main base is like... That was...
And I think he knows it too. He's just so frustrated at the moment.
He gave up. He gave up before that game was even halfway over. He just gave up.
And the thing was, he had taken some damage, but he didn't need to, you know, stim in like that. That's what we're talking about, that one stim where he just went up the ramp into 2 siege tanks with like 10 Marines. He didn't need to do that.
I'm really sad here because I feel like MarineKing is a great player and he's actually come back to his talents. Like, he played insanely well in the GSL, the Hot 6 Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, he was looking like he was beating top tier pros, you know? And he made it all the way to the finals. There's Center coming in here to talk to him a little bit. Everyone looks a little bit upset, but crowd's going crazy because it's time to hear from FanTaSy.
선수가 세트 스코어 3대 0으로 완벽하게 승리를 거머쥐셨습니다. 축하드립니다, 정명훈 선수.
감사합니다.
Perfect 3-0 victory for FanTaSy. Congratulations.
5개월 만에 개인 리그에서 본선 무대에 진출하셨어요.
저도 그래서 지금
It's been a year and 5 months since you have qualified into the main round of an individual tournament.
긴장하신 것 같아요, 아직까지.
네, 긴장이 아직 안 가셔가지고 지금 되게
I'm still nervous even now.
너무 좋으면서 너무
It's a feeling that I haven't felt for a very long time. But it's a good feeling.
경기 운영으로도 유명하잖아요. 오늘 경기에서도 유감없이 그런 모습들을 보여주셨는데 어떠세요? 개인의 경기력, 정명훈 선수의 경기력 전성기 때만큼 올라온 것 같으세요?
How did you think about your performance in this game?
7-80%는 올라온 것 같아요.
7-80%. 그러면
It's
이제
about 70 to 80%
경기를 기대해봐도 좋을 것
of
같은데
when he was in his
오늘
prime
경기에서는
back in the day.
100%의 모습을 봤어요. 이정훈 선수의 공격적인 성향을 역으로 잘 이용하셔서 승리를 가져오셨는데 오늘 다전 재판장에서
You used the MarineKing's aggressiveness to your advantage.
예전부터 스타1 때부터 해오던 그 한따기가 있어가지고 그거 하던 식으로 많이 했고
So
일단
he had a plan for this match
이길 것 같았어요.
that he used even from back in the StarCraft 1 days.
없어 보였어요. 그래서 좀 1경기
And MarineKing actually looked very unconfident today playing TBT.
8강으로 잡으셨어요. 이제 좀
Very
목표 수정을 하셔야 될 것
Polite way to
같아요.
put it.
어떠세요?
아니요, 저 수정 안 하고요. 일단 8강만 가면은 저는 정말 만족스러울 것 같아요.
My goal for this tournament is actually to get to the round of 8. And if I make it to the round of 8, I'll be very satisfied with myself. Congratulations.
I think his fans will be very satisfied as well.
Well, I was expecting to be an epic, longer best of 5 that went the distance that MarineKing was going to win. Ended up being the absolute worst match of the night, and FanTaSy just crushed him. I mean, his fans were happy.
Yeah, but you could see it in the booth when all of his teammates went in there. They were like, "What are you doing? Like, why did you do that?" It was obvious that they were very frustrated with him as well.
Yeah,
and that's why, like, if MarineKing can actually get his mentality straight all the time, he can play like he did in Hot 6 Cup. But he just didn't show up today.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good way to put it. Well, here are results. The Super takes out both BL 3-0 with a pretty big upset here. There's always being one step ahead. Very, very solid results. And I don't want to say Byung played badly or he disappointed. Super just showed up with his A game.
Yeah, really liking Super's play. Can't wait to see him play more in the future. Hero also taking out his teammate Byung in a team kill here. Not the most happy circumstances, but Hero said sorry to his teammate and knocked him out.
Would definitely recommend watching the VODs of that. If you missed it, tell your friends to watch that one because
definitely.
This is my most recommended best of 5 that we've had this entire
Overgrowth
tournament.
as well, set number 3. Very nice game. And going into the next match we had tonight, we had Leenock versus Yonghwa. Yonghwa didn't play at his greatest, and Leenock just kind of toyed around with him. You know, that's Leenock's style, very aggressive, just kind of smothering his opponent, especially the Protoss players.
Yeah.
He used that tonight.
That was a very long series, but a really fun one. Game 3 on Catalina. Definitely one to go back and watch if you like base trades. And FanTaSy versus MarineKing. FanTaSy showed up. MarineKing got tilted. The only game that he played well was Game 1. There were even some issues there, and then he just fell apart. And in Game 3, he actually made bad choices, seemingly on purpose out of frustration.
Yeah. And the reason we're talking about so much about it is because we like the player as well. It's not like we're trying to, be so mean to him and anything like that. We were just frustrated with his tiltedness as well.
Yeah.
But guys, here we do have the round of 16. All 16 players that have qualified. Of course, we will have those group selections on Thursday, January 8th at 7 p.m.
A really good race distribution, actually. Trying to think of the Zergs that lost. Solar, Scarlet, and Sulky. And that was his EVZ. So, I mean, just considering who qualified, like, the advancing players, it's a pretty good ratio. I like it a lot. Another match to look back on, by the way, that I would recommend for those of you guys who missed earlier VODs, Dream. Watch his game, man.
Yeah,
watch those Thors. It was a really cool and unique style. A lot of great micro out of this guy.
That's a guy, if he plays against more Zergs, I can definitely see him hitting at least a round of 8, possibly round of 4. He played so well. But guys, as you may have expected, we do have Pro League next week as well. On Monday, starting at 7 p.m., we're going to have Jenner Green Wings versus SK Telecom T1, and then MVP, their newly formed roster, against KT Rolster in the second match of the night.
Yeah, those entries should come out actually probably right after this if they haven't actually come out already while we were broadcasting. So I'll be posting those up on Twitter ASAP. Be sure to follow the two of us on Twitter, by the way. I'm Proxy Wolf. He's Brennan Valdez. And we'd love to hear from you guys. We do check Twitter. We read all your tweets, even sometimes like in between games or in a break, for example. Because it's good to see, what the people out there are feeling and saying.
Course.
You have a voice, and I want to hear it.
Yeah. Like we do hear all the stuff about the health bars, and we have talked to people about it. We don't know if that's actually ever going to get fixed, but we are talking to people. So
yeah,
just
of course.
To let you guys know we are listening.
I know there were some issues with Twitch chat and also the VODs. I've been posting those up for you guys. There's a lot of good resources for that, like the SC2 small VOD thread, and also, of course, SC2 cast and other resources like that out there for you guys to find those VODs. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for Pro League.